In this video, I'll give you a complete guide to MCT oil and we'll discuss whether or not it really works. Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Zarowski and welcome back to the channel. Now as always, if you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community so that way I can help you excel your health and your life. In this video, we're going to give you a complete guide to MCT oil and we're also going to discuss, does it really work? Because this is a question a lot of people have. A lot of people say, Dr. Zarowski, I've been using MCT oil, but I haven't seen any benefits. Does it actually work? So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to dive into the different research behind MCTs because there's a lot of emerging research out there that most people haven't seen yet. So we're going to discuss everything A to Z and tell you how to use it at the end of the video. Now, when we look at MCTs in general, first of all, they're referred to as medium chain triglycerides, and they're very unique in the way that it's a fat molecule with 6 to 12 carbons, okay? So because it's unique in its overall structure, it offers some unique benefits. First of all, it's more easily absorbed by, first of all, the brain, the mitochondria. It also is less likely to be stored as fat. You know, we don't want to be consuming this stuff and having it going as fat. Well, MCTs don't, so that's really great. Metabolize into ketones in the liver, so once again, it can be used quickly, especially for those who are on the ketogenic diet. They love this stuff, and it's utilized as a quick fuel source. So, you know, when you're using these MCTs, it's going to go right to the mitochondria, start supporting the increase in energy. It's going to offer the brain that extra support so that you have extra energy there. And this is, once again, is why many people love using MCTs. And the great thing about it is it does not impact insulin levels, okay? So when we talk about if you're trying to lose weight, if you're someone who has insulin level instability, the MCTs are great because they're not going to spike those insulin levels, and as a result, they're not going to cause weight gain. So when we look at the next topic here, we're going to discuss weight loss, we're going to discuss brain health, exercise, we're even going to get into a little bit of gut health stuff. So let's start with MCTs and weight loss. First is, when we look at MCTs, overall, in general, they're very, very good for weight loss. They've been shown to reduce the daily calorie intake. The reason for this is because the MCTs are very satiating. People who start consuming them find themselves just eating lesser calories. And this is a big problem for people who are trying to lose weight because one of the issues is that they just keep over-consuming calories. So if you use MCTs, you find yourself more satiated, not really, you know, getting those different hunger pains and wanting to eat more throughout the day. Reduction in body weight and circumference, okay? So anybody who's trying to lose weight, right? Not only are you trying to get the fat off, but you're trying to look better. So if you can reduce the body circumference, really, really positive stuff. Also, it's gonna help reduce insulin resistance. Now, when we look at to reduce insulin resistance, they did some studies with diabetics, and what they found is diabetics, pre-diabetics, they basically were becoming more insulin sensitive by using MCTs. And when we look at these different studies right here, they did go and look at it, compared them to like long-chain triglycerides. They also compared it to things like sunflower oil, and they found that the MCTs worked better again and again versus these other different types of oils or the other triglycerides. There was a 2013 systemic review, and this is huge right here, and meta-analysis of 11 randomized controlled studies, and what they found is significantly reduced body weight. Okay, so when they're taking these different studies, I mean, they went and looked at 11 different ones. They were done properly. They were controlled studies, and they found that MCTs offered significantly reduced body weight. So that's really cool, and that's a real big win for those who are using MCTs. So when we look at MCTs and weight loss, positive stuff there. Definitely want to utilize that if you want to lose some weight. Let's talk about MCTs and keto, because MCTs are very much loved by those in the keto community for many reasons. First of all, they are easily converted into ketone bodies. Okay, so if you are someone who's on the ketogenic diet, you want that quick boost of energy, you can go ahead and take the MCTs, convert it into ketone bodies, give you that fuel source right then and there. Now, there's also a 2018 study that confirms it's a faster fuel transition time. So it offers a faster fuel transition time. And what I mean by this basically is that when people are switching from a regular diet to the keto diet, essentially you are switching from a sugar burner to a fat burner. In that transition time, it can take a long time for some people. I mean, it's upwards between 1 week, 2 weeks, all the way up into 4 weeks. And it just really depends on how metabolically healthy you are. Now, when using MCTs, they were finding that people were going and transitioning much faster. And so if you add in some MCTs and you want to switch from a sugar burner to a fat burner, get in the state of ketosis, the MCTs will quicken that transition time. Really awesome. Next is 2018 study also confirmed a reduction in keto symptoms. Now this is also powerful because if you have done the ketogenic diet or even attempted it, because some people attempt it and they just fail because they start to get what's known as a keto flu, all these symptoms show up and they feel terrible and they're like, well, this diet's not right for me. But no, it's just kind of part of the process. But basically what was found is if you took MCTs, it was reducing the keto flu symptoms and people felt much better during that transition time. So if you're switching from a sugar burner to a fat burner in that transition, when you're going into the state of ketosis, the MCTs are going to help reduce symptoms. Next on our list is we're going to talk about brain health, because MCTs are very powerful for brain health. They're a win for keto, they're a win for weight loss, they're going to be a win for brain health as well. Now, when we look at MCT versus placebo, what they had found in the studies is that the MCTs were increasing levels of beta-hydroxybutyrate, and it was doing it rapidly. So basically, they were taking these different people with different neurological conditions, such as Alzheimer's. They'd give them the MCTs, and it was increasing the beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is one of 3 primary ketones in the body. Now, the reason that that's beneficial is because people who have increased amounts of beta-hydroxybutyrate in their system, they were shown to have better cognitive performance and just overall better neurological health. Now, MCTs were found to significantly improve cognitive function in those suffering from brain conditions. Once again, the study that I was specifically reading was Alzheimer's, but there's a lot of different data out there showing that people who are suffering from all neurological conditions, all brain conditions, really benefit from MCTs. So if you're thinking kids with autism, people with Parkinson's, people just who have, not necessarily a labeled diagnosis, but people who just their brain doesn't work well. They have brain fog, they have a sluggish brain, they have low brain endurance. The MCTs really help in that way. Let's talk about MCTs in exercise, because in 2018 there was a lot of great emerging research that has come out about using MCTs in order to increase physical performance. So first of all, the MCTs were shown to increase mitochondrial biogenesis. So when we look at the MCTs, they're essentially increasing the mitochondria, which is really important because the mitochondria are essentially the fuel or powerhouse for the body. Now this powerhouse is what gives your brain the ability to think and your body the ability to have the energy to even perform on a daily basis. And so it's increasing the mitochondrial biogenesis, and that's very powerful in itself, but it also helps improve metabolism, which is going to help with that weight loss issue most people are suffering from. It also decreased blood lactate levels. So essentially what happens is when you're working out, you increase blood lactate levels and it fatigues you out. So the MCTs were helping decrease that blood lactate levels, which was allowing people to sustain longer term exercise and increase their overall performance levels. And that is really, really interesting. Also, 2018 study found that it decreased the perceived exertion. Now, this is interesting because as a runner, I can tell you that sometimes I go out and my perceived exertion is sometimes far beyond what reality is. And so, if you're out there and you're exercising and you feel that, you're just working so hard, but in reality, the time shows if you're running that you are not moving very quick, you have a very different perceived exertion than what's happening there. And so if you can go out and decrease your perceived exertion by consuming MCTs, that's going to be very powerful for overall physical performance. Also, a significant improvement in time trial performance for cyclists. So what they had is these cyclists who were going and they were doing these time trials. They were a 2-hour cycling sprint, and essentially what they found is that those who were using MCTs had a much better time there. So basically, if you're doing some of the longer duration exercise, the MCTs are powerful for that too. MCTs and gut health. So this is kind of interesting because when we talk about brain health, I always like to talk about gut health too because they're very much connected. So powder versus oil. Now, there's a couple of reasons that we have to talk about this. So a lot of people have a hard time digesting MCTs, so they don't really get the benefits from it. They have a hard time digesting that oil. Sometimes people even get sick to their stomach by consuming the oil. So what most people don't know is there's an MCT powder that's available. The powder has been shown clinically to work much better when it comes to digestion. People who have a lot of symptoms from the oil don't get it with the powder, and even they're found to get better results with the powder versus the oil. So you can do powder or oil. And one of the things about the powder, specifically the one that I use, they put a cacao fiber in it, and that supports the gut-brain connection. Once again, the idea is support the gut with the cacao fiber, and it's going to support the microbes working as a prebiotic, but it also is going to help with microbe balancing. And so MCTs in gut health are very intricately connected simply because the brain and the gut are connected. And some people don't react well to the oil itself. Now, applications, how can you use this? So first of all, anyone can benefit. You saw these benefits. I mean, they're really great. And so anybody, it's not any particular person that needs MCTs and some that shouldn't. Anybody can benefit from MCTs. I like to put it in smoothies. You can go ahead and put the powder or the oil in a smoothie, and it tastes great like that. Coffee is probably one of the ways that MCTs were really popularized over the past couple years. A lot of people putting MCT oil in their coffee. I prefer the MCT powder in my coffee because one of the problems with the oil is you put it in, it's like an oil spill in your coffee, and if you don't have a blender available, it's disgusting. So I like to put the powder in my coffee. There's a lot of reasons I actually typically use the powder over the oil just because it's so much more convenient. You have that packet, you can pull it out of your pocket. I'm like, you know, the coffee snob who goes to the coffee shop and like pulls out my MCT oil packet, and you know, so the powder is great for that reason. It's not messy. It doesn't leave you with oil all over your hands every time you pour it. So using it in coffee is great. Supplements too. So some people will take like an MCT oil supplement. If that's your thing, you know, once again, we know that MCT is very beneficial. So, and also use it as a finishing oil. You can use it on as a finishing oil on the different meats that you cook. You can put it on salad. You can use it in a lot of different ways. So when we look at MCTs in general, they're not all created equal. Some are coming from cheaper oils, some are coming from better quality oils. The other thing to consider is that some are just hanging on the coattails of research done with a particular blend of MCT oil. Now, the MCT powder that I use is actually a research and patented form of MCTs that is proven. So some people that use MCTs like to go with this powder that I recommend simply because you know that you're going to get these different benefits that we're talking about here versus, you know, kind of a shot from the hip using some of these different other MCTs out there that really are claiming research behind their product, but their product isn't the same stuff that was used in the research. So if you use the powder that I recommend, it actually has been research proven and is patented, is really great stuff. So I'll put a link in the description to the MCT powder and oil that I use. The other thing that's important to know about the MCTs is that they're not all created equal. Okay, so when you look at a lot of the MCTs out there, they vary greatly in price, and you know, some of them are coming from like sunflower oil, some of them are coming from different oils, some are coming from coconut oil, and so you always want to make sure you're getting the better ones. Now, the specific MCT powder that I use is actually used with the Go MCT, which has been patented and researched because it's been used in research and proven to be effective. Like a lot of MCTs kind of just hang on the coattails of the MCTs that have actually been researched, but the one that I recommend to people is one that's been used in research. It is patented and it's really awesome stuff, so you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're actually using an MCT powder or an MCT oil that is really going to offer you all the benefits that we talked about today. So check those out in the description below. Give this video a thumbs up and please share this with your friends so that they can see the benefits of MCTs. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. And also post any questions or comments you have in the comment section below, and check out my other videos on how you can improve your health. I'll see you in the next video.